Hello and namaste to all of you. This is Devin Shala Singh from Department of Physiotherapy and Diagnosis from Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. For today's topic, I will be talking with you all about obesity. Okay. Earlier, I've talked about two of the most commonly known disorders protein energy malnutrition, which were Kwashiorkor and marasmus. So, uh, Now today it's about obesity. Kwashiorkor and marasmus were basically caused due to malnutrition and due to undernutrition. But obesity, it can be malnutrition can be due to undernutrition and also it can be overnutrition. Okay, so obesity is your overnutrition. Earlier two cases, marasmus and Kwashiorkor, were your undernutrition cases. Now obesity is the most prevalent nutrition disorder in prosperous and developed countries. So, all over the world, obesity is prevalent in affluent people, and it is because the human race is accustomed to poverty and malnutrition from time immemorial. Now, the obesity is designed to store energy whenever available. Okay, so our body is basically designed to store energy whenever available. Now, this is the first generation in history where foodstuffs are in plenty. So by habit, people eat more and get obese. Now, obesity is a condition in which excess fat was accumulated. This is due to the increased energy intake and decreased energy expenditure. Now, what is obesity index? Basically, the obesity index is calculated by weight upon my height per square. So weight is in kg, height is in meters. So obesity index is equal to weight upon height whole square. Now it is used to assess the obesity. So obesity index is basically the old terminology. So the modern expression that we say is body mass index or BMI. So the most widely used marker for body muscle mass index is 24-hour urinary creatinine excretion, and a person is obese when BMI exceeds 27.8 kg per meter square in men and 27.3 kg per meter square in women. Now, excess of 120% of desirable body and weight. Now, central obesity may be enteroid or apotype, that is abdominal in men, or gynecoid, or that is around breast, hip, and thighs in women. Now, obesity, it can occur only as a result of indigestion of food in excess of body's need. Now, daily energy expenditure, which is DEE, is the basal metabolic rate plus physical activity plus diet-induced thermogenesis. Now, the major causes are food habits, that is intake of calorie-rich food in excess amounts and lack of exercise. So, upper body fat deposition is mainly by hypertrophy or increase in size of existing cells. Whereas a lower body type obesity is by hyperplasia or increase in number of adipocytes. Now, genetic predisposition has been suggested. So, if one parent is obese, there are 50% chances for the children's becoming obese. So, however, no gene alone is responsible for productivity of obesity. There are actually many diseases that are related to obesity. Once a person is obese, obesity is itself not the only not the condition that a problematic condition. It invites so many diseased conditions that are cause main what are the main reasons of disturbance. Now, sensitivity of the peripheral tissue to insulin is decreased. So the number of insulin receptors are decreased in adipose tissue cells and plasma insulin levels, they may be elevated. Now, obesity is associated with substantially increased cardiovascular risk and increased waist to hip ratio, that is for abdominal obesity, which is at the greater risk. And in metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, hyperglycemia, hyperlipidemia, increased LDL and decreased HDL is seen. And so the obesity are seen. Now, the major ill effects of obesity are increased risk of coronary artery disease, diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and metabolic syndrome, and reduced lifespan. So, calorie fat and restricted diet may retard aging process and extend the lifespan. Now, what is the treatment of obesity? So, lifestyle modification is the best suitable remedy. So, the goal is to reduce the intake of calories and fat, and frequently small meals with lots of vegetables will make the food palatable, and they give a feeling of satiety. So, controlled exercise is very useful. So, in patients with higher grades of obesity, drugs may be given to decrease appetite, or endocannabinoid receptor antagonists would decrease the intake of food. Now, what are the regulators of appetite basically? So, hypothalamus, it has a central control and appetite. So, psychologic, genetic, neural, and humoral factors are involved in the control. Now, high levels of cortisol, as in case of your Cushing syndrome, leads to obesity. MSH, that is your melanocyte stimulating hormone, is a powerful appetite suppressant, and at any genetic mutation in gene will have its effect. So patients with Prader-Willi syndrome, that is deletion of part of chromosome 15, and Lawrence-Moon Bleedy syndrome, which is a genetic defect, it tends to overeat and are obese. Polypeptides that increase appetite are neuropeptide, ghrelin, melanin, concentration syndrome, orexin, endocannabinoid, cholecytokinin, and polypeptide, and YY, that is insulin and cortisol. Now, appetite decreasing factors are your leptin, melanocyte stimulating hormone, glucagon related peptide, and cocaine, amphetamine related transcript, and serotonin. So, now adipose tissue, it basically talks to brain through various hormonal factors. So, now, leptin, it is the hormone that is secreted by adipocytes, and it is a 16 kilodalton protein with 167 amino acids, and it plays a key role in regulating energy intake and energy expenditure, including in appetite and metabolism. And it is the product of OB gene, uh, which is seen in mouse, and the corresponding human gene, that is LEP, so which is present in human chromosome number 7. Now, fasting or following a very low caloric diet, VLCD, it lowers the leptin levels, and leptin administration, it will inhibit your gastric ulcer formation in rats and stimulate the growth of esophageal adenocarcinoma cells. Now, it is mainly produced by white adipose tissue and to a certain extent by gastric mucosal cells, and it functions as a satiety signal. So, it is an index of energy reserve in the body, and when the energy reserve is adequate, leptin levels are increased, and it will suppress future food intake. Now, when there is enough fat deposit, leptin secretion is stimulated, and leptin will inhibit your neuropeptide Y secretion. And so, when fat deposits are full, appetite is again decreased. Now, mutation of leptin or mutation of its receptor in hypothalamus will lead to the removal of this feedback mechanism. So, uncontrollable eating and obesity will result. Now, obesity is basically associated with leptin and resistance, high level of leptin in plasma. OB gene, or OB gene, it produces leptin, and in the absence, obesity will develop. Now, the administration of recombinant leptin is found to be effective in the control of childhood obesity. Now, leptin improves insulin sensitivity in muscles as well as in liver. So, in both muscles and in liver, leptin reduces intracellular triacylglycerol levels. So, there is adipoinsular axis with the insulin promoting leptin secretion and leptin inhibiting insulin release. So, the effect of leptin in insulin level is due to inhibition of proinsulin level synthesis as well as reduction of insulin secretion. Now, neuropeptide Y, which is a hypothalamic polypeptide, it stimulates desire for carbohydrate. So neuropeptide Y is also secreted by the small intestinal ileum in cells and is also present in entire nervous system, adrenal gland, and pancreas. So the action is to inhibit insulin secretion. Now, ghrelin, it is mainly by adipocytes, also by PD1 cells, which are lining the fundus of human stomach, and epsilon cells of the pancreas. So it is a polypeptide in which fatty acids are incorporated, and it stimulates hunger and appetite by acting on hypothalamus. Plasma levels of ghrelin is increased by fasting state, which induces hunger signals. Now, ghrelin levels, it increases before meals and decreases after meals. So ghrelin also plays a significant role in hippocampus and is essential for cognitive adaptation to changing environments and in the process of learning. So recently, ghrelin has been shown to activate endothelial isoforms of nitric oxide synthase. So ghrelin increases growth hormone secretion. Now there is another neuropeptide, which is ghrelin. So it increases the craving of fatty food. Now adiponectin, which is the leptin. So the adiponectin ratio is subjected with metabolic syndrome and was significantly higher than those in subjects with metabolic syndrome. So adiponectin is there. Now the next one is your vispartin. So it is also called as pre-B cells colony, enhancing the factor of now it is mainly secreted by your adipocytes. So vispartin, it does not promote insulin resistance, and on the contrary, it has been um, now it has been basically on glucose uptake mediated by direct binding and activation of insulin receptors. Now, after that, there is omentin. So it is another peptide secreted by predominantly by visceral fat, and it is therefore it has positive effect on glucose uptake, and it works on insulin sensitizer. Now, omentin is made by stromal vascular cells within the adipose tissue rather than by adipocytes. Next is your tumor necrosis factor alpha. So its levels are elevated in obesity and in insulin resistant states. So it reduces insulin action. Now, interestingly, TNF is not derived from adipocytes, but macrophages have been implicated in TNF production from adipose tissue. Next factor is the resistance. So it is another small inflammatory molecule with hyperglycemic action, and the levels of resistance are elevated in obesity. So resistance increases hepatic glucose output, and human resistance is the product of macrophages or within the fat deposits and not by your adipocytes. Next, 10th will be retinol binding protein 4. So over expression of RBP4, it impairs hepatic and muscle insulin action, and high serum RBP4 levels, they are associated with insulin resistance in obese humans and those with type 2 diabetes. Now there is NEFA, that is a non-esterified fatty acids, which are primarily released from adipose tissue during fasting, and circulating NEFAs, they reduce adipocytes and muscle glucose uptake, but they promote hepatic glucose output, and the net effect is to promote lipid burning as a fuel source in most of the tissues, while sparing carbohydrates for neurons. Now, because lipolysis in adipose tissue is repressed by insulin, insulin resistance from any cause can lead to NEFA, that is non-esterified fatty acid elevation. Now, which in turn will induce additional insulin resistance as a part of a vicious cycle. Now, inflammations in obesity. So, obesity and type 2 diabetes are inflammatory states, now consistent with production of pro-inflammatory cytokines such as TNF and IL-6 by adipose tissue. In obese, bone macrophages are recruited to adipose tissue under the influence of proteins secreted by adipocytes, which includes macrophages and chemoattractant protein 1, that is MCP1, Now, intra-adipose macrophages are dominant contributors to insulin resistance, so that is associated with obesity. Now, thiazolamidione, which are PPAR alpha antagonists, they used clinically as insulin sensitizer and reduce MCP1 levels and macrophages infiltration into adipose tissue. Next factor is the sleep and obesity. So less sleep can cause decreased hunger, appetite, and body weight. So for children and adults, hours of sleep per night is inversely related to BMI. So sleep deprivation produces decreased leptin secretion and increased ghrelin levels and decreased glucose tolerance. So average amount of sleep has steadily decreased among adults and children during the past several decades all over the world over the increase and incidence of obesity. So that would be all about obesity. So if you have any doubts regarding obesity, so you can contact me. Until then, take care.